we back. Now today we're bringing you guys the long-awaited 2017-2018 NBA Award Show from me. Now in today's video, I'm giving my opinions on who I think should win MVP, Rookie of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, Sixth Man of the Year, Coach of the Year, Most Improved. 6 major awards. Now with these videos, they are 100% my opinion, okay? You may disagree 100%, and that's cool. That's cool, but if you're one of those people that are so weak-hearted that my opinion is gonna really ruin your day, you should click off the video right now, dog. I'm gonna give my reasonings behind why I give this guy an award. The way I kind of structured this is actually I gave my top 3 and then I narrowed it down to 1. And I also did polls on Twitter to see what the fans were thinking. So if you're not following me on Twitter, you really missed out. All right, but let's get into it. So let's start off with the award that I thought was basically the easiest award to come up with, and that's MVP. This is the year of the beard. This is the year for James Harden. So if I were to have a vote, James Harden is getting the first place vote. He just took the league by, I mean, last year he was really good too. I had him as MVP for last year too, if you remember that video back in the day. He was my MVP last year, and this year he got even better, and his team is even better, and that's all that really matters. For me, you're gonna see a pattern with these. One thing I value when it comes to awards is winning. If you are a very impactful player on a very winning team, where you're gonna get the nod, and James Harden is the leader of the best team in the league record-wise. So because of that, James Harden is my MVP. Now, second place, I'm giving it to LeBron James. LeBron just arguably had probably the best season we've seen him have in 5-6 years, and I think his last MVP was in 2012. So basically his best season since his MVP run in Miami. The reason why he's not number 1 for me though, there's a period of time in January where the Cavs were they were god awful. They were really bad, and because of that, he wasn't able to get them out of that sinking boat. And he struggled himself. Now, I mean, like LeBron James' struggle is different than like a struggle from any other player. His struggle would still get you all-time great numbers. But while he was struggling, one guy stayed consistent, and that was James Harden. So because of that, LeBron James is second. But we did just basically see LeBron James play the most games in his NBA career in one season. That's all 82. So shout out to LeBron for that. Now, third, it's a two-way tie between Damian Lillard and Anthony Davis. Both players brought their team to a new level. After DeMarcus Cousins' injury, Anthony Davis and squad, if you ask me, they were looking down. They were like, man, this is supposed to be our year to remake the playoffs after the year where they got eliminated by the Golden State Warriors a couple years ago. Boogie was supposed to come in and help them be great, and he was. He was doing that until, of course, he tore his Achilles. Now, a normal team, after losing such an impactful player like DeMarcus Cousins, is going to go through a slide. But afterwards, we saw the Pelicans go on, what was it, close to a 10-game win streak? And most of that was due to Anthony Davis putting on his major backpack. He's like, I got y'all, with the help of Drew Holiday, Rajon Rondo, Nico Mirotic. But mostly, it was Anthony Davis putting on that backpack, and boom, they made the playoffs. Does this technically count as DeMarcus Cousins' first playoff appearance, even though he's not actually appearing? I don't know, you tell me. But him and Damian Lillard, very similar. We've known Damian Lillard to be a star, him and Anthony Davis. But this year, he took it to a new level, being basically one of the clutchest players in the league. So because of that, he deserves some recognition, and those are my picks for the MVP. Next, we got Rookie of the Year, probably the most controversial award. Right off the bat, I'm going to say that out of all these, this is the one award that, if you ask me, is the least important for an NBA player's career. When it's all said and done, when we determine the greatness of a player, Rookie of the Year is not a thing we're going to really look at. Think about it. When we talk about LeBron or we talk about Jordan, we talk about the championships. We talk about the MVPs. We don't say, well, LeBron won Rookie of the Year. Well, Jordan won Rookie of the Year. Yeah, it's cool. It's cool and all. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. Omeka Okafor won Rookie of the Year over Dwight Howard. And there are patterns like that where Michael Carter-Williams has a Rookie of the Year award. And we know how that goes. But nonetheless, I'm going to give who I think wins it. Now, again, this is the most controversial one, but I can legitimately say throughout this season, I've switched sides so many times. Y'all know the top 2 guys. It's Ben Simmons and Donovan Mitchell. 1 month, it'll be, I got Donovan Mitchell. He outplayed Ben Simmons. And then this month, it'll be Ben Simmons. But right now, at the end of the season, I got to go Ben Simmons. And the reason why Ben Simmons nudged over Donovan Mitchell in the long run for me is these last 8 or so games where Joelle and Beed has been out, Ben Simmons has basically taken over as like the guy. Now, one of the major knocks on Ben Simmons, well, there's two major knocks on Ben Simmons for Rookie of the Year. First is he really a rookie because of last year? If you ask me, yes, he's still a rookie because he didn't play. And then another knock is that, well, he's not the number one option. You know, he is important, but ultimately, Donovan Mitchell is probably more important to his team than Ben Simmons is to the 76ers. So there are two major knocks, which is they're very understanding. If you think that Ben Simmons is not a legitimate rookie, you're right. I mean, you're right, but then again, you're wrong at the same time. Like, there is no right or wrong answer to this. But the reason I picked Ben Simmons over Donovan Mitchell is just his last run. Now, Donovan Mitchell has had an incredible season. This basically mirrors the 2004 Rookie of the Year. LeBron won it, but you also had Melo averaging 20. You had Dwayne Wade averaging 17. You know, any of those guys, if you put them in the year after or the year before, they win the Rookie of the Year. If Donovan Mitchell was a last year rookie, he wins it over Malcolm Brogdon. And that's the truth about pretty much, there's a lot of rookies in this season that are actually playing really well. There is a case for Donovan Mitchell, and I'll say it right here. Clutch time performance for Donovan Mitchell has been stellar. He's been the number one option on the playoff team as a rookie. That's just doesn't happen often, okay? And if you look at the numbers in the clutch time moments, Donovan Mitchell for the Utah Jazz has the ball in his hands 44% of the time. When if you go look at Ben Simmons, it's only 19%. So if the team needs a bucket in Utah, the ball will be given to Donovan Mitchell. But in Philly, you can give it to Joelle and Beed. If you need a three, you give it to JJ Redick. So there are pros and cons for each candidate, but I'm going Ben Simmons as my number one, Donovan Mitchell is my number two, and my number three has got to be Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum is a baller, dog. He's definitely a baller. Not much more I can say about that. I think all three of these guys are about to have some amazing careers, and man, I'm excited about the future of the NBA. But let's move to the next award. Defensive Player of the Year. It's Rudy Gobert. There's nobody even close. Now, the main knock on Rudy is that he missed 26 games this season. But honestly, at the end of the day, for me, that's not important, dog. Because when he was on the court, he was so impactful. Defensive real plus minus, he blows everybody out of the water. Every starter out of the water. The next guy, the second guy on the list is David West, who's not nearly playing as many minutes. Rudy Gobert is the best defending big man we have in this league, bar none. You have guys like Draymond Green who won in the past, who, if you ask me, took a step back defensively, or Kawhi Leonard, who has not played this year. If Rudy Gobert doesn't win this award because of the 26 games he missed, I personally will be upset. But my number two is Joelle and Beed. The Philadelphia 76ers are a very good defensive team, even though they're super young. And that's impressive, and Joelle and Beed is the center of that. And third, actually, I have Al Horford. They are the best defensive team in the league, the Boston Celtics is, and it has to come from somewhere. And though Al Horford's not a guy that'll give you blocks like a Hassan Whiteside or anything like that, his help defense and his availability to switch on pretty much any guy in the pick and roll is one of the reasons why this team was so good defensively. So those are my top three for Defensive Player of the Year. Sixth man, it's Lou Williams. It's Lou Williams. Is there any other option to legitimately win? Lou Williams almost made an All-Star game this year. Almost. He was this close. And he just has such an amazing season. It's so good to see that he signed a contract to stay home in LA. 3 years, $24 million. Second on my list, I got Fred VanVleet. All right, shout out to my Illinoisan, because y'all always give me like, he's not from Chicago. But if you're from Illinois, come on. The Chicagoland suburbs is Chicago. Anyway, the reason I pick him number two over like an Eric Gordon or Will Barton, who I have tied for number three, is because he plays those clutch time minutes. You know, like when the Toronto Raptors go small, there's Fred VanVleet guarding the best guard. That's very important. He's very impactful without giving you a 15, 20 points per game off the bench. And because of that, he's my number two. And like I mentioned, Eric Gordon and Will Barton both tied for number three. Will Barton made a huge mistake by turning down all that money in the offseason, but somebody's going to pay him. It just won't be as much money as the Denver Nuggets are going to give him, but had one heck of a season too. Most improved player, Oladipo. Oladipo, bar none. Like a lot of these awards, I knew who my winner was, but it was the second place and third place votes that kind of got me like, who should I vote? Victor Oladipo went from, if you ask me, an average starter averaging like 15, 16 points per game to being a star. He probably is gonna make an all NBA team this year. That is an extreme jump. And it reminds me similar to the Jimmy Butler jump, because Jimmy Butler went from a player he showed that he can be good or a starter in this league. And then one year he just came in, boom. He's like really, really good. And we just sitting back and watching like, wow, can he keep this up? The first month of Victor Oladipo, people were like, he's not going to keep this up. The Indiana Pacers won't make the playoffs. But here they are in the playoffs as the 5 seed as I'm recording this video. And most of that's due to Victor Oladipo putting the team on his back. This offseason, he lost a lot of weight and he got more in shape and he came out to play. Now, second place, I gave it to Spencer Dinwiddie, who bounced around from Detroit to Chicago. Just couldn't really find a home. He went to Brooklyn. Kenny Atkinson got him right. Kenny Atkinson gave him the keys after D'Angelo Russell went down, after Jeremy Lin went down, and he turned into this player that, well, he's going to get paid. He's going to get paid this offseason. I don't know how much. Again, there's not a lot of money in the NBA right now as far as like, you remember Alan Crabb got that crazy deal? Or Chandler Parsons got that crazy deal. It's not that type of money no more. So he's going to get paid. It just won't be crazy amount. But he's shown that he can be a legitimate player in this league. And I respect that from basically being in the G League and being on practice squads and stuff like that. Playing in the summer league and not making teams. And then last but not least, I have Clint Capela, who was a threat last year offensively, but he got even better this year. And I think some of that's due to the fact that when James Harden wasn't on the court, he still had Chris Paul on the court with him to throw him lobs and stuff. But Clint Capela, even defensively, just got better this season. Last but not least is Coach of the Year. There are 6 legitimate candidates for this award. 6. And you can argue 7. But here's the 6. I got to read off my list. This is not in any particular order. I'll give my order for top 3. But these are the 6 coaches that I kept in mind, okay? Nate McMillan, Terry Stotts, Brett Brown, Quinn Snyder, Dwayne Casey, and Brad Stevens. 6 coaches. And the reason I picked these coaches, either A, they coached their team very well despite injuries or things like that, or B, their team that they coached was expected to be bad and they just rose to success. The winner I have, though, is Brad Stevens. It's close between Brad Stevens and Dwayne Casey, but I'm going to have Brad Stevens a little bit more because of all the injuries they dealt with in Boston. They still figured out a way to be the second best team in the Eastern Conference. For a good time early in the season after the Gordon Hayward injury, they were the best team in the East. They're the best team in the East. So he found a way to, get all these guys to defend. You take a look at their roster, Kyrie Irving, the Morris brother. These are not defending guys. Even Al Horford, even though he's been an okay defender, he has not been an amazing defender besides like this year. You know, this year and last year, he's been pretty good. He got these guys to buy into playing great defense. And that shows that's one of the reasons why they're so successful. Now, they may get eliminated in the first round because of all the injuries to their star players. But I think in the regular season, man, not many people outcoach Brad Stevens, and that's facts. And then with Dwayne Casey, he went from almost getting fired last year to revamping his entire offense to not as much ISO ball. We're actually playing team ball and had it so that you couldn't just guard DeMar DeRozan really well and win games. You know, that's what teams were doing. That's what teams were doing basically to beat the Toronto Raptors. You can't do that anymore. The offense is so different than it was last year, and it's in the modern system. And that's the reason why they're the best team in the East right now. And last, I had Quinn Snyder, projected to win 38 games, came out, looks like they're about to win 48, 49 games. And well, you can do the math yourself. That's an extreme jump from a team that lost their best player. Some people would project them. Again, Vegas projected them to not make the playoffs, and here they are. They could get up to the 3 seed, depending on how they do tonight against the Portland Trail Blazers. So, there we go. That is my ballot. You may disagree. If you do disagree, let me know in the comment section below. You know, legitimate arguments are cool. Like, arguments are cool as long as you keep it okay. Like, as soon as you start with the name calling, stuff like that, that's when it gets ridiculous, okay? But those are my opinions. You let me know in the comment section below who you would vote for if you had an NBA voting ballot. Thank y'all so much for watching. Peace. Oh, and I forgot to say, if you want to see me go more in depth with my picks, I dropped a new episode of my podcast, Through the Wire, where not only do I give my opinions, but my homies give their opinions too. Link is in the description. It's a longer episode if you want to see, again, more in depth of my picks. Yeah, go listen.